Okay, so Wineville is another indie horror film, written and produced and starring Brandy Roderick. Some of you may know who she is, but she plays a mother who and her son. She has a son, and she has to go back home because her father died. Her father owned a vineyard out in the middle of California, and he died, never left a will, so everything he had now goes to Tess, her character. But Tess doesn't want to go back because he was very abusive growing up. Did horrendous things to him, which is revealed throughout the film. And so she finally goes back and she meets her aunt, who they lived with, and the handyman Joe. Um, and while she's back, the police come by. Sheriff comes by and says, "People have gone missing lately." In fact, a woman at the beginning of the movie who helped Joe, whose car was broken down, took him home. They started making out, and now she's missing. What could be happening there? So, so all Tess wants to do now is sell the vineyard and get the money and leave. Problem is Margaret's been living there all her life and doesn't want her to do that. And so she connives her way into figuring out how to get her to not sell the property. And as Tess is there, there's certain remembrances, little reminders of the abuse she experienced. Her father was physically abusive to her and her mother. And at one point she saw her mother had killed herself, and she's the one who discovered the body out in the barn. And so as people start winding up missing, the police come in and they start having to investigate it. And let's just say that maybe someone involved in this story is the one doing all the killing. Can Tess find out who it is, and can she survive? And also, who is coming after her? And so this is very much one of those, horror films where, child comes back, haunted by her past. And throughout this entire film, we slowly see what happened to her. And I'll say this about this movie. I like this movie. It's a nice low-budget indie movie. Brandy Roderick put a lot of her time and money into it. Very much an attempt to become to kind of position herself as a scream queen, and where the story succeeds is in just this revelation of her past. One thing I like about movies is I like movies that aren't predictable, where I'm not figuring out what's happening next. I'll say this movie is somewhat predictable, but what I also like about movies are movies that set up this idea of, oh, we can't go there because it's not right, or because it's ethically and morally wrong to go in this direction from a Hollywood story standpoint. This movie goes in those directions. There are setups where it's like, no, you can't do that. And then it does it. I don't want to reveal too much about what happens, but this movie just gets dark and dark and dark and goes down turns you don't want it to go down, but it goes down those turns. And I really like this movie. Nice indie budget. You get it on VOD, and just a good night for just a weekend night of scares. And so, yeah, recommended. I gave it a 7.5.